Ashley is one diva who's very easy on the eyes, let me tell you.
She's got an extensive gymnastic background too, though, which means she can hold her own in the ring.
I don't care what she does in the ring as long as I get to watch.
You women have embraced the WWE diva lifestyle like Ashley has.
And there are few women these fans want to embrace more than Ashley.
We do have a smart audience, that's for
Ashley may look like a kitten, but she fights like a tiger.
To be honest, I think my favorite is when she, purrs. What are your thoughts on Ashley, Tazz?
I'll tell you this, buddy. They're the kind of thoughts that could get me in a little hot water, if you know what I'm saying.
From Diva Search winner to cover girl, Ashley's done it all.
Facing off against Batista's like trying to wrestle a boulder.
Batista is a fierce competitor, no doubt about it. Batista is such an imposing force here in WWE. I wouldn't want to look across the ring at him.
There's a reason they call him the Animal.
And if a more appropriate nickname existed, I couldn't tell you.
You know, I just can't get over the sheer size of Batista. The man is built like an ox.
You got that right, partner. And the Animal will use that size advantage to flat out destroy any superstar. Batista is one of the most dominant superstars in WWE history.
No doubt about it. The man is just pure power.
Tazz, have you ever squared off with a competitor as powerful as Batista?
Come on. I've faced plenty of tough guys, but any like Batista? Phew, this guy is no... Well, if I had to pick my favorite diva, I'd probably have to say Beth Phoenix.
Interesting choice, partner. Why her?
Oh, come on. You gotta be kidding me. There's nothing more attractive than a girl who's beautiful and can kick your butt. Come on, Joey. That's happened to you many times. Many women can kick your butt. You're soft. I could go on forever. You're nimble. You're weak.
Since making her debut, the Glamazon Beth Phoenix has been one of the most dominant women in WWE.
No doubt about it. Beth Phoenix is so much more than just a pretty. One thing that's always impressed me about the Glamazon is her incredible strength.
There's no denying that, partner. I'd say she's probably as powerful as some of the men on the WWE roster, if not.
Like it or not, there aren't many divas who can go toe-to-toe with Beth Phoenix.
The Glamazon truly is a phenomenally powerful competitor, and it's this strength that helped her to rule the women's division with an iron. With beauty, brains, and a heck of a lot of strength, the Glamazon is one of the most iconic divas we've ever seen.
V is so huge. That makes him incredibly strong.
The Mastodon, Big Daddy V, has built up an impressive one-loss record.
And it's no wonder when you look at the size of this guy. He's humongous. There's one thing you can say about Big Daddy V, it's that he's extreme.
And that barely does the Mastodon justice. Big Daddy V is a monster, plain and simple. He's the sort of animal that gives children nightmares. Big Daddy V is no stranger to success.
Well, what did you expect? It's hard to beat a man when he's the size of a small building.
Everything about Big Daddy V, and I mean everything, is scary. Even his teeth give me the creeps. Think about this, Tazz. When the Big Show press slams you, you're dropping from over 10 feet high. And when he headbutts you, it's like getting hit with an anvil.
The man's got a head the size of a police horse and fists that are like bowling balls. He's just long.
Can you imagine trading punches with the Big Show?
No, and I don't want to. The fact is, nobody on the planet can trade punches with the Big.
The Big Show is very methodical. He takes his time to break down his opponent.
And that's what makes him all the more scary.
The Big Show loves to exploit his size and weight advantage.
And the Big Show does that better than anyone. It's one of the reasons why he's won so many championships over his.
Kendrick and his partner London make a great, quick, fast, agile team.
Oh yeah, they're the perfect blend of speed and high risk. You don't know what direction they'll hit. This Brian Kendrick is off the charts, man. I'm telling you. You never know what kind of crazy move he's going to pull off next.
Kendrick is indeed a young superstar here in the WWE with a mountain of potential.
Oh yeah, Kendrick's just awesome now, but he's still going to continue to improve. Now how crazy.
Brian Kendrick was trained by future WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels.
That's right. Kendrick, like Michaels, wasn't necessarily the biggest guy in the room, but this guy just does some incredible, impressive things in the ring.
HBK taught this superstar well. No,
I just can't get over how fast Kendrick is.
He's got incredible speed. He may be one of the 3 quickest athletes in WWE.
You know, Kendrick's a smart cookie. I'm telling you. He doesn't possess a ton of size, so he'd rather just launch his body right on you. It's great.
And that tactic has worn down and defeated many, many opponents here in WWE. The silver-tongued pugilist Elijah Burke has one of the loudest mouths in all of sports entertainment.
He can back it up like nobody's business, too. The guy's a world-class striker.
He's also a world-class trash talker. Burke has had plenty of harsh words for the ECW originals.
You gotta admire him for that. He went into their yard and wanted to be the big dog. You know what big dogs do, right? They bark. Coming from a fighting background, it's only natural Elijah Burke would be comfortable in ECW. Even still, I'm impressed with the guy's progress.
One thing he hasn't adapted to is the fact that closed fists are illegal in WWE.
Honest mistakes, man. I'm sure he'll get the hang of it. I like Elijah Burke, man. He's got fists like a jackhammer.
Why someone with so much raw talent would feel the need to resort to tactics like that will never make any sense. Fans may remember the time Elijah Burke stepped up to the announce table to fill in on color commentary in your absence.
He did a decent job, but I think he should stick to competing in the... There's 2 things that I like about Elijah Burke. The first is his talent for talking trash.
I can't argue with that, although I don't think it's his most admirable quality. What's the second thing?
Well, I'll tell you what it is. The fact that he can back it up in the ring. This guy is dynamite between the ropes.
You can say that again. He's made quite a name for himself so far in...
Hey, Sammy, did you know that Elijah Burke used to be a boxer before he came to the WWE?
I sure did, and what a fighter he was. Record of 103-1 with 102 knockouts.
And his one loss came after he knocked his opponent out and didn't go to a new...
I don't think these fans are too crazy about Elijah Burke.
What's not to like? The guy's pure gold on the microphone. Gold, I say, Jerry, gold.
I think they've simply had enough of Burke beating their favorite superstars through, underhanded...
I respect performers who can do moves that I couldn't pull off. For example, Candace has that little twirly dance thing she does. I'm so not good at that.
Thank you for a mental image that will haunt me until my dying day.
Hey, no problem. Anything...
Candace suffered a broken nose in the ring back in November of 2006, but returned to action only a month later.
You can't keep a good girl down. Unless you try.
In her case, I guess you can't keep a bad girl down either. Damn. When not in the ring, Candace has appeared on several television shows and TV commercials, including the year's biggest football game.
Whatever she's selling, I'm buying. She could talk a leopard into giving her a spot.
Carlito is proud to be the coolest superstar in sports entertainment.
What do you know about being cool?
I don't have to know much. Carlito says he's cool.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have to know much because you don't. Carlito's dad was a famous wrestler.
Yes, the great Carlos Colon.
When you come in with that kind of experience, you already got a leg up on most of the opponents. I'll tell you, if Carlito keeps walking around telling people they're not cool, somebody's going to teach him a lesson.
Many have tried, and many have been turned away. He's not to be underestimated. Carlito has shown us more of his athletic prowess recently.
The guy can bounce around pretty good, that's for sure. But my philosophy is, if you can win without doing that, don't...
I don't know that there's anyone on the planet with as much intestinal fortitude as John Cena. The brawler from West Newbury, Massachusetts likes to live fast and fight hard.
And boy, does he fight hard. I'll tell you, getting clocked by one of Cena's haymakers is like taking a cruise missile right to your face.
You said it, Taz. You never want to find yourself trading blows with... It's all about the desire, the heart, the passion with John Cena.
Somehow, some way, he always manages to rise to the occasion.
When the challenge is daunting, when the odds are stacked against him, Cena instinctively steps up his game. Cena likes that smash mouth, in-your-face style. He's handy with his fist and possesses great athleticism.
And the guy will never say die. He's got one of the biggest hearts in all of the WWE.
And that can't be quantified, Taz, but it's an intangible that gives Cena a tremendous...
You know, I've watched tons of John Cena matches, and I can't figure out what it would take to really finish this guy off.
That's the question, isn't it, Taz? What does it take to beat a man with that much drive to... I'm just amazed at the level Cena competes at night after night.
We've said it time and time again. The guy's motor goes from 0 to Mach 3 in about 5 seconds, and he does a down throttle until the final.
Talk about mock speed, Cena hits harder than a sonic boom. It's sickening the way Chavo Guerrero has turned his back on the fans.
Hey now, they turned on him first. Believe me, he just stopped listening to them. And good for him. He's been more successful this way.
I just don't know how he sleeps at night.
Well, he's usually sleeping next to the championship title. The guy, Chavo, sure is living up to the family legacy. I'm sure they're all very proud of him.
When your family creed is lie, cheat, and steal, it's kind of hard to disappoint.
Well, you could get caught. That would be disappointing. Of course,
Chavo believes it's his destiny to be a success in WWE.
It is his destiny. He was born a Guerrero. They have wrestling in their blood.
Well, I can't argue with that. And Chavo's about as good as...
Chavo's one of those dudes that could just hang in that ring with anybody. Cruiserweight, heavyweight, whatever. Chavo can flat out go.
Part of the reason why is because of his ability to throw the rule book out. I just can't believe how many times Chavo bends the rules in any given match.
Both you and the fans need to start respecting Chavo a little bit more. The guy's 100%. Palumbo just has so much raw power. The man is a bull. A bull, I'm telling you. He's a bull.
Hey, I wouldn't wave a red flag in front. Chuck Palumbo is an accomplished tag team wrestler holding multiple tag team titles as well as being an enthusiastic motorbike fan.
He's not a bad fighter.
Chuck Palumbo has developed a real mean streak with devastating results.
Let's not beat around the bush here. Palumbo's nothing but a thug who needs a swift personality change.
Chuck Palumbo is a vicious, conniving, devious thug who will stop at nothing to inflict pain upon his opponent.
And that's what makes him so fierce. There aren't many men who could get into a fight with Chuck Palumbo and so, at times it's hard to tell what Chuck Palumbo likes more, motorcycles or hurting people. Man, I'll tell you what, there's a chance this Cody Rhodes could very well be the future of this industry.
The future? Try the present. He's already won and defended championship gold in WWE. You can't get any more established. Cody's been around veterans his whole life and learned so much.
Without a doubt, that experience has catapulted his in-ring growth. After just a few short years, Cody Rhodes has already established himself as a WWE.
Cody Rhodes, I can't help but root for him with that Rhodes family blood running through his veins.
Well, Cody obviously has the right stuff. He has tremendous superstar.
This Cody Rhodes is the grandson of a plumber and, more importantly, the son of a WWE Hall of Famer.
And that's given him the genetic disposition to be a natural in...
I gotta say, Cody Rhodes isn't intimidated by anything or anyone.
Just like his dad, I've never seen this kid back down, and I don't think I ever...
Together with Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins is one half of one of Smackdown's hottest tag teams.
They certainly have potential, I'll give him...
If there's one word that describes Kurt Hawkins, it's opportunistic.
Hey, he's hanging out with Edge, so it was bound to rub off. You know what annoys me sometimes about Kurt Hawkins? He knows no matter what he does, he can always hide behind his safety net. His partner, Zack Ryder, and Edge. It's kind of smart, though.
What's going to be interesting is how well the team stands on their own should anything happen to their insurance. Whether you like him or not, you have to admit that Kurt Hawkins has a lot of potential.
True, but in my book, he needs the guts to go out there and fend for himself sometimes. If he's ever going to be great, he's got to...
Young and athletic, Kurt Hawkins is a formidable superstar with friends in high places. Edge never met a rule he didn't break. Happily.
He also never met a title he didn't win. Notice the connection there, Weisenheimer?
His devious ways may draw on the ire of the fans, but they've caused him to win a lot of matches and a couple of WWE championships.
Hey, you know what, genius? I'm pretty sure he's not in the WWE to make friends. The guy's all about winning, and he does it pretty. I love watching Edge go to work in that ring, man. You never know what he's gonna do.
That's the reason they call him the Rated R Superstar.
His rants may not be family friendly, but I kinda...
Edge has really asserted himself as one of the most successful superstars on the WWE roster today.
There is no doubt he earned his spot. The guy went through tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my!
It's going to take someone equally determined to knock him off his perch, and there aren't a lot of superstars who...
Edge is always thinking 3 moves ahead. You can't outsmart this cat.
It's also tough to out-cheat him. He bends the rules like they're made of pizza. Edge has certainly proven himself to be one of WWE's most controversial superstars.
Controversial? is just a word that slunkers like you use to describe winners like Edge and myself.
The corn-fed colossus is about as unorthodox as they come.
Totally. I don't know if Festus knows what a headlock is, but it doesn't matter, because when you have his strength and his tenacity,
Though he may be quite stoic before he enters the ring, the second that bell rings, Festus transforms into a human wrecking machine.
it's like waking up a sleeping giant. All of a sudden, you're not in a ring with some big old country boy. You're in there with Jesse and Festus have to be one of the strangest teams I've ever seen.
They truly are the odd couple. I think it goes without saying that Jesse's definitely the brains behind the unit, while Festus brings the transformation that occurs in Festus whenever that bell rings is nothing short of amazing.
Got that right. You hit a bell ring, and you better start running. I'm telling you, high-step it out of here, because you got a 300-pound freak behemoth. Powerful, brutal, and quick. Festus is every wrestler's nightmare and every tag team partner's dream.
You have to remember, when you step in the ring with Finley, he loves to fight, and that's just what he's going to do.
No doubt, and nobody takes the fight to you like Finley.
It's just too bad he so rarely fights fairly.
You ever been in a fight there, or like a real fight, girl pants? There aren't many rules out there in a real fight. Finley's old school, man. He'll pick you apart, piece by piece, with deadly precision.
He's ruthlessly efficient to be sure, and he's honed his craft over many years and many continents.
Anybody underestimating the Irishman's probably gonna limp back to the locker room with broken bones and one more loss. Finley's a heck of a competitor. I love watching him work in that ring. He's a superstar.
Maybe that's why I don't really care for him. To me, he's more like a goon's goon. Surely there's gotta be more to Finley's life than just fighting, right?
Give me a break. He's a WWE superstar, not a desk clerk. When he punches in for work each day, he uses a balled up fist.
I can't imagine being able to still compete after the career that Ric Flair has had.
That's because you were never able to compete, period.
Just how dirty is Ric Flair gonna have to get to beat his opponent?
I think he'd have to get as dirty as he can to get a win. I'll tell you what, we've seen Flair get hardcore. We've seen him get extreme numerous times in his illustrious career.
And how many times have we seen the Nature Boy wear the crimson mask and become a champion?
I don't know if he's won a title without blooding himself or blooding his opponent.
The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, knows every trick in the book.
Ha! Knows the book? Come on now, man. He wrote the book.
That's a good point. And I bet if you're not looking, he'd clock you upside the head with the book, too.
And I can't promise you he wouldn't think
Flair looks bound and determined to get another notch in his storied career here tonight.
I don't know if Flair's ever not determined. The man's been doing this for what, 4 decades? Look, the Nature Boy always gives.
Nobody, and I mean nobody, has given as much of themselves to this business than the Nature Boy.
Are you kidding me or what? I can only hope that I've got Flair's motor when I'm his age.
We could all be so lucky. Shawn Michaels is a living legend in sports entertainment. Shawn Michaels has one of the most storied careers in WWE history.
Yeah, the Heartbreak Kid has done it all. He's beaten the best in the business.
Yes, but there still aren't many superstars who hold victories. Shawn Michaels is destined for the Hall of Fame.
The man is a living legend. He's been so good for so long.
He continues to be the showstopper, wowing the fans each.
Hey, you gotta admit, it's special seeing HBK in action.
I have no problem admitting that. The fact is, after his main event match at WrestleMania 14, we thought we'd seen Michaels for the last time.
But the showstopper proved us all wrong.
Hey, it's just another example of how Shawn Michaels has triumphed. HBK has done it all in the ring, Royal Rumble winner, multi-time tag team champion, multi-time intercontinental champion, multi-time WWE champion.
Yeah, but he hasn't held the ECW championship.
Not yet, Taz, but I also don't recall him having the opportunity. He gets that, and you can tack that accolade.
Shawn knows so many ways to beat the living hell out of his opponents.
The man's headlined more WrestleManias than I've attended, Taz. That kind of experience is just unparalleled. Michaels is looking for his chance to tune up the band. Shelton Benjamin is 100% pure athletic ability with a cocky attitude to boot.
But when you're as good as the gold standard, you can afford to be cocky. He knows how good he is. It's just everyone else that needs. Shelton Benjamin is one of the most extreme competitors. The risk he takes in the matches are just insane.
And he's so athletic, too. There aren't many people in the world with a vertical leap like Benjamin.
You gotta watch out for the athleticism of the gold standard, baby. And Benjamin's exactly the sort of guy we need for ECW. Trust me, he's extreme, he's risk-taking, he's crafty, a perfect fit right here in the land of. One of the coolest things about Shelton Benjamin is his amateur background.
And this is something Benjamin's trainers picked up on very quickly. Benjamin actually won 2 wrestling championships in high school, which turned out to be an early indicator of his future.
Hardcore Holly's a guy I'd love to see on ECW.
With a name like Hardcore, how can you not?
Hey, it's not just a name, it's a lifestyle for Holly. That man just loves to hurt people, and I love watching.
How much pain has Holly put himself through in the 15-plus years he's competed in WWE?
We all witnessed it when Holly went through a table and suffered one of the sickest cuts down his back that I've personally ever seen.
Not only that, but Holly didn't quit. He kept fighting just like he always does.
And that's what makes hardcore, hardcore. I'll tell you one superstar I'd never turn my back on, and that's that cat right there, Hardcore Holly. He'll straight up clean your clock if you give him the chance.
I think it's safe to say he'd clean it and then end up smashing it over your head.
Yeah, I think that's.
How devastating is Holly's Alabama Slam?
Well, it's the perfect move for Holly. He's that smash mouth, knock him down type of. One of the perks of being Mark Henry is that there aren't many people who can stop you from doing anything you want.
That's true. The world's strongest man is a terrifying individual, and he is certainly capable of seriously injuring his opponents.
And that's supposed to be a bad thing? How many times do I have to say it there, Charlie? This is not ballet.
No one's saying that it is, but Mark Henry takes everything to new heights.
There is no doubt in my mind that Mark Henry is really the world's strongest man. The power of this guy is absolutely incredible.
It's downright scary is what it is. We've seen Mark Henry absolutely physically destroy his opponents, and I hope we're not going to see more of the same tonight.
Look, anyone who gets in the ring with Mark Henry knows exactly what to expect. And if they're dumb enough to do it, that's their.
I'll never understand why Mark Henry resorts to such brutal tactics. He's already the world's strongest man. What's he got left to prove?
Listen, every time Henry gets in the ring with someone, he's sending a message to the whole locker room. And that's the way you gotta get it done around here to get ahead.
Well, if you ask me, a victory is message enough. But Mark Henry seems to enjoy dishing out sense.
I love watching Mark Henry go to work in that ring. And there is no one else in this business that has the power and strength to pick his opponent apart like Henry.
You say it like it's a good thing. I wish Mark Henry would focus more on winning matches and less on ending. I don't use the word evil lightly, but that's what comes to mind when I see the delight Mark Henry takes in destroying his fellow superstars.
Evil's just a word that losers like you use to describe people who do whatever it takes to win a.
Triple H is one of the most decorated WWE superstars in history.
You talk about him like he's a Christmas tree or something. The guy's a sports entertainment stud, plain and simple.
And when you play the game, you play by his rules.
There aren't too many rules as far as he's concerned. He's one danger. When you step in a ring with Triple H, you're in there with one of the best in the business.
Unless you've brought your best against the game, you don't have a lot of hope of winning.
You're usually lucky to escape with a loss instead of getting your head smashed in with a.
Most superstars dream of having careers with half the success of Triple H. Multiple-time world champion, a founding member of DX, the list goes on and on.
You're not kidding. That's why they call him the Game.
And love him or hate him, the fans respect Triple H for his.
Triple H is the cerebral assassin. He is as good at breaking dudes' minds as he is their bodies.
I don't know which one is worse, but frankly, I'll take a pass on both. Triple H has so much ability, I don't understand why he blatantly ignores the referee and the rules.
God, all you want to do is whine and complain. I got 2 words for you. Be.
Watching Triple H You just know the man's always thinking, always deciding his next move in this chess game.
The game stays one step ahead of his opponents, no doubt. The fact of the matter is, he's the king and his opponents are usually I'm just stoked we got the King of Kings here tonight.
You said it, partner. And without question, the game knows how to take it to the extreme. Triple H is ruthless. He's aggressive, and he understands in-ring psychology better than any other WWE superstar.
Look, there might be individuals that are more aggressive or more ruthless, but the game is just a complete wow. Is the game all jacked up and looking in phenomenal shape or what?
That's Triple H's MO. He knows in order to be the best, he has to remain in top physical. JBL may be one of the most pompous, self-absorbed superstar ever to lace up a pair of wrestling boots.
You know, you're talking about a former football star, best-selling author, a financial analyst, not to mention a wrestling god.
I know, and I don't care. JBL uses his loud mouth and the fact that he's 6'6" and 300 pounds to bully everyone else around.
You think you've been bullied enough times in your life?
John Bradshaw Layfield was born and raised in the great state of Texas, but currently resides in New York City.
That means he's both big, tough, and mean.
What a great combination. No wonder he's such a joy to be around.
When you get hit by JBL, you feel it for a while.
It's that smash mouth style that helped him to hold on to the WWE Championship for so long. JBL has always been one of the most outspoken critics of Extreme Championship Wrestling.
And yet he finds himself competing in an ECW ring. That's irony, right? Look at JBL out there. God, he looks good for an old timer, huh?
Never question his ability. Tactics maybe, but never his ability.
JBL's tactics, as you call them, led him to becoming the longest reigning WWE champion in Smackdown history. Now that is sweet.
I think JBL also set a record for most consecutive matches.
Watching JBL in action makes me realize what a loss it was for this great business that he retired.
It's a miracle that we're even able to carry on without him at all.
Hey, don't get smart there, wise guy. Have some respect. You're watching a wrestling god. I remember a match just like this, but I can't remember how it ends. I'm pretty sure JBL wins, though. He usually does.
Yeah, and usually by cheating as soon as the referee's back was. I have to admit, JBL is looking pretty good out there. What is going through his mind in this match?
I think that, right about now, he's hoping that you weren't screwing up at the commentary, too.
Jeff Hardy has had lots of success in WWE, both as a singles and a tag team competitor.
Jeff Hardy is a unique dude, that's for sure. This guy marches to the beat of his own drum or marches to the drum of his own beat or whatever the hell the expression is. He's different.
Maybe that's why he has such a passion for music, partner.
So that would explain why he's always got that rock star thing.
Jeff Hardy is definitely one of the most enigmatic superstars in the business.
Enigmatic, huh? Wow. That's a $10 word. That's a fancy way of saying he's kind of unusual.
Enigmatic is in the eye of the beholder.
Is it just me or does Jeff Hardy keep taking his game to new levels each and every night?
It's not just you, partner. Hardy's an incredible superstar that will do whatever it takes in his quest for championship. Jeff Hardy is quite possibly the most extreme athlete in WWE.
Forget the WWE for a moment. This guy's one of the most extreme athletes in the world.
You might be right, Tazz. The man's not afraid to sacrifice life and limb to come away. What do you think, Tazz? Does Jeff have what it takes to be the ECW champion?
Does Jeff have what it takes? Are you kidding or what? Just been extreme before extreme was... I'm telling you, Jeff Hardy's like a whirling dervish in the ring. The man's just a human tornado. Tornado, I say.
You got that right. A tornado that will take down everything in it. Watching Jeff Hardy, you just can't help but see shades of a young Shawn Michaels.
You got that right. They're both extreme athletes that push themselves harder than anybody else in the business.
Though Jesse can certainly take a fight to any superstar, it must be reassuring to know that you've got a giant like Festus waiting in your corner.
And it's this contrast of styles that led them to so much success.
It's important not to let Jesse's country bumpkin looks fool you. Before he entered WWE, Jesse was an accomplished amateur wrestler.
And as we've seen in the past, if you know how to mat wrestle, you can definitely make your opponent tap.
And that's something you're an expert on, right, partner?
You got that right.
With his unique mix of high-flying and mat-based wrestling, Jesse has to be one of the best all-around competitors we have in WWE.
He's had plenty of success in the tag team division, and who knows what success awaits him if he ever enters singles.
When you're in the ring with Jesse, you aren't safe anywhere, whether he's wrestling you to the mat and forcing you to tap, or leaping off the ropes to take you down. Jesse is an incredibly skilled competitor. Though he isn't as big as some of the other WWE superstars, there's no doubting Jesse's immense courage and heart. Say what you will about her attitude, but Jillian is one of the most gorgeous divas in WWE.
But only if that were true for her voice. Good God. I mean, the thing, her voice, it's like nails down the back, my back, a chalkboard. You know, not for nothing, I'd rather wrestle a Big Show in a street fight with one arm tied behind my back and my feet clamped together than listen to that Jillian do what she calls singing.
I can see where you're coming from, partner, but are you sure about that?
Hey, I could put up a fight against Big Show, I could take him to the limit, and it'd still be less painful than listening to Jillian sing.
When Jillian debuted in WWE, she helped out the likes of JBL and other superstars before getting into the ring and entering the women's division.
And since then, Jillian's been making her voice heard in the women.
When she gets down to business, Jillian is an accomplished athlete. Think she'd be a good fit in ECW, Taz?
I don't know. I like her style, but let's face it, the most extreme thing about this girl is that voice, and that can't stay.
A talented competitor, Jillian fancies herself as a bit of a prima donna, never missing a chance to treat our audiences to her unique singing. Our resident cowboy, Jimmy Wang Yang, isn't exactly your stereotypical Asian.
Nope, Jimmy Wang Yang is 100% redneck, buddy. From his entrance music to his hat, he can even back it up in a...
When it comes to high-flying action, Jimmy Wang Yang can deliver some of the most incredible moves I've ever seen.
Hey, speaking of moves, how about that little ditty he does on his way to the ring?
That's the Rhino Shuffle, Taz, a funky little move taught to Jimmy Wang Yang by his break.
Jimmy Wang Yang is a superstar you should never ever underestimate.
And that's something other superstars have had to learn the hard way, Taz. If you ever turn your back on him, you can be sure this redneck will take it.
Having to live with stereotypes his whole life must have been hard on old Jimmy Wang Yang.
I don't think he minds too much. Jimmy's all about having a good time, wrestling to the best of his ability, and getting the job. As far as pure high-flying ability goes, Jimmy Wang Yang is up there with the best of them. How good is it to have John Morrison as part of the ECW roster, Taz?
The man might be arrogant, but he possesses outstanding, phenomenal athletic ability.
And Morrison has an extreme side that has just flourished since joining ECW.
Oh yeah, this guy's off the hook for sure.
The Shaman of Sexy, the Guru of Greatness, the Tuesday Night Delight, John Morrison is a man of many names and a dominant competitor in ECW.
Many names and many championships. This guy can flat out. John Morrison may be cocky, brash, and arrogant, but you can't say that he hasn't got the skill set to be on top of the mountain.
He might have a bad attitude, but he's got all the talent in the world. Whether you like him or not, there are only a few more well-rounded competitors than John Morrison.
You got that right. Morrison may be brash, but he's young and talented and the future of this.
John Morrison has all the talent, charisma, and natural ability you could possibly hope for in a superstar. Morrison's feud with CM Punk was one of the most exciting series we've ever seen in ECW, and it showed just what an elite level Morrison is. JTG is here to represent Crime Time, the tag team that's stealing the attention of WWE fans. Get it? Stealing?
Yeah, and among other things, keep an eye on your wallet there, skinny man.
You got them all wrong, partner. In fact, I paid them to watch my wallet for me.
You, my friend? What do you think JTG stands for anyway?
Jerks Taz's Garter?
Very funny there, wise guy. Remind me to fix you a knuckle sandwich after this match.
JTG has mainly stuck with tag team competition so far, not engaging in too many singles contests.
If I had a big dude like this Shad as my partner, I'd stick to tag teaming also.
Don't discount JTG though, partner. He's got a lot of skills or he would.
This JTG guy claims he's from Brooklyn, but I never seen him around my way.
Maybe that's because when he was coming up, you were spending time in Philadelphia for a certain extreme organization. JTG may not always stay within the rules, but he always puts on a good show for the fans.
Fans rule. Bah! Come on! Huh! All that matters is getting a...
Kane is one of the most intimidating figures ever to set foot in a WWE ring.
It's not just his size, though. The guy can move. It's even more amazing when someone that big can handle himself.
How do you hope to stop a foe like that?
You don't. That's why Kane has so many championships. Kane is certifiable monster, no doubt.
The only thing scarier than Kane's physical stature is his litany of mental problems.
I hear he's getting a little help with that. It's nothing like a little shock treatment can't sort out, or more like a lot of.
Can you imagine looking across the ring at Kane as his opponent?
Duh, genius. I've done it. The guy's big, nasty, and as tough as they come. It's no picnic, let me tell you.
Maybe I don't give you enough credit for your bravery, partner, or maybe you had it. After seeing what Kane looks like under his mask, I'd feel better if he put it back on.
You can't always judge a book by its cover. Sometimes what's underneath is even worse.
Well, have you ever seen a more attractive exhibitionist than Kelly?
Honestly, Styles, besides you, I think Kelly's the only exhibitionist I've ever met.
Exhibitionist, Tazz. She's an exhibitionist.
Gesundheit. You need a tissue? Kelly has grabbed the attention of both the fans and the performers.
Yeah, and it's not hard to see why. Just look at her.
I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
Kelly is just as sweet in person as she is pretty.
She does look great in the ring, that's for sure, but that doesn't exactly win matches. You know what I'm saying?
Only you could see a girl like Kelly and think of headlocks and arms.
Hey, why in the hell did Kelly's parents give her the same name twice? Kelly. That's like you, Joey.
I don't know. Maybe Mr. and Mrs. Kelly had a feeling that their daughter would have trouble remembering two names. One of the hottest prospects in WWE, Kofi Kingston has one of the most innovative offenses I've ever seen.
And that's just a small part of what makes him such a good in-ring technician. He's quick, he's agile, he can hit you from any angle. Jamaican me.
Kofi Kingston gives off a real good vibe whenever he's in action.
Always good to see a superstar who can enjoy themselves in the ring, having a good old.
With his unique blend of offense and incredible agility, Kofi Kingston could soon grow to be a headline competitor here on ECW.
He's got the ability, that's for sure. And the fans just love him too. Kofi's just one of those guys that you want to see. Kofi Kingston's one of the brightest young superstars on the WWE roster. And you know what? He's also the first WWE superstar to come from Jamaica.
No matter where he is or what he's doing, Kofi Kingston never loses that friendly smile.
Lance Cade is just one half of a great tag team.
Along with Trevor Murdoch, the Southerners have had an impressive run as a tag team holding championship gold several times along.
There's nothing pretty about Lance Cade's style. This guy just sets out to hurt you, and he'll do it any possible way.
And that just makes him all the more dangerous to his opponents. When your opponent is setting out to deliberately injure you, what can you do?
Nothing but try to beat him to the punch. Pardon.
While he's a veteran of the tag team ranks, Lance Cade has experience in other divisions as well.
He's young, skillful, and experienced. And that's one of Lance Cade's greatest assets.
While he may look respectable enough, don't let Lance Cade's appearance fool you. This man is as rough and ready as any.
Cade is such a powerful force in the ring. I'm glad Layla's found her extreme streak.
I'm not sure her opponents would agree with you there, Tazz.
I always love watching Layla wrestle. She's hot, she's talented, and she's got some sweet dancing moves too. I like it.
Which is more than we can say about you, right, partner?
Ha! That depends on which part you're talking about.
Since arriving at ECW, Layla's become a gifted competitor and shown she knows moves are for more than just dancing.
You could say that again. When the going gets tough, Layla can go with the...
Thanks to her experience as a dancer, Layla has incredible speed, agility, and flexibility in the ring.
And when it comes to a wrestling match, sometimes having the speed advantage over your opponent is all it takes to help you pick up the Duke, as they say.
Though she's certainly an attractive diva, Layla's an accomplished competitor too, something she proves in each and every match. Maria is easily one of the most talented divas on the WWE roster.
Well, she's not exactly hot on the eyes, neither.
Since joining WWE, Maria's had an incredible career. She even spent time as a cover girl.
That's only helped boost her confidence even further, which translated well to...
Since competing in the Diva Search in 2004, Maria's certainly come a long way.
Well, you're right there. Now she's an accomplished wrestler and drop-dead gorgeous diva to boot.
Maria is certainly a firm fan favorite and one of the most popular divas in WWE.
That's for sure. And it's not hard to see Maria has got to be one of the most beautiful divas on the WWE roster.
Amen to that part. The only thing that's gone up quicker than Kennedy's stock in WWE has been his ego.
That's Mr. Kennedy to you. You know, like Mr. Kennedy!
I'm waiting for it.
Kennedy! Ah, man, I love
Who does Mr. Kennedy think he is?
He's a winner, plain and simple. That's why you have such a hard time figuring him out. You'll never be a winner like him.
That's fine by me. I'd rather be a completely different kind of winner. Thank you very much.
Nobody's beaten more world champions than Kennedy, and nobody's done it faster.
I might be more impressed if there weren't so many disqualifications and other questionable verdicts. Mr. Kennedy's brash and arrogant attitude hasn't won him many fans.
No, but I bet as many people buy a ticket to boo him as they do to cheer any other superstar on the road. Whenever I see the Boogeyman, I'm reminded why I'm glad I quit wrestling. Period.
He's certainly extreme, that's for sure. I'm actually starting to feel a bit uncomfortable sitting here with this guy. As a guy who's been in the ring with many unusual competitors before, how would you go about facing the Boogeyman, Tazz?
Well, you really never know what this guy's gonna do next. I just keep my distance, keep my guard up, and keep away from those. In all my years of wrestling, I can honestly say I've never seen or wrestled a freak like the Boogeyman, and I've wrestled Balls Mahoney.
And the word freaky isn't nearly strong enough to describe the Boogeyman. The guy eats worms for people. In the world of WWE, there have been many unorthodox individuals, but the Boogeyman takes it to a new level.
You know what? I'd go as far to say that ECW quite possibly has the strangest locker room in all of sports.
With his unique look, unusual mannerisms, and his devastating moves, the Boogeyman has made his home in the land of extreme. Good God. At 7'3" and 420 pounds, the Punjabi Nightmare holds an advantage against any superstar in WWE.
You said it. The man's too big and too strong for most competitors to even stand a chance with. The word giant gets thrown around here a lot, but the Great Khali is the real deal.
He sure is. I can't even begin to imagine where they found a monster like him.
I don't know, but I wish I did. Just so I could stay the hell away from there.
You and me both, partner. I'm a little nervous just sitting.
I hate to admit it, but when I look at superstars like the Great Khali, part of me is really glad that I'm not in that ring anymore.
Are you admitting that the Great Khali intimidates you?
Don't go putting words in my mouth. I'm not saying I couldn't beat him. I'm just saying I'm glad I don't.
Look at the fire in the eyes of the Great Khali. He's here to make an impact.
Yeah, well, that's not hard to do when you're a 7-foot monster. Believe me, I can.
Michelle McCool is a former Diva Search contestant who's now become a very successful performer.
She may have not have won the Diva Search competition, but she did earn a job here in the WWE. You gotta give her an A for effort.
What kind of curve are you grading on, partner?
Are you blind to something? Michelle's got plenty of curve. Michelle McCool is one smart cookie. She taught 6th grade before coming to WWE. That's 2 grades higher than me.
I'm sure every one of her students turned in their assignments on time for fear of suffering her wrath.
I know about that. I probably would have gotten worse grades if she was standing in front of me all day. How could you pay attention in class? I gotta say, I really dig this Michelle McCool. Nothing like a smoking hot chick that loves to mix it up in the ring.
If I was her sports entertainment teacher, I'd send her to detention for... At 5 feet, 10 inches tall, Michelle McCool is one tall diva. The only reason she wears high heels is to use them as weapons. Melina may be the cattiest of all the divas in the locker room. She's flat out not to be trusted.
I really wish all the other divas would stop being so jealous of Melina. They just gotta realize they'll never be as good as her.
Just because Melina says she's better than them doesn't make it true.
She's hotter than a desert and 3 times as beautiful. What other lady can compete?
Melina is like the sirens of ancient mythology, using her seductive charms to lure men to their demise. When Melina emits that banshee-like howl, she can peel the paint off the walls.
That's what a real woman does. Melina is 100% real woman. Kinda like...
Matt Hardy is such a tenacious competitor, he never gives up. Few superstars have as much heart as Matt Hardy. Whenever Matt Hardy steps into the ring, you don't know what's gonna happen next.
Well, you know what? Whatever happens, it's going to be off the chart. Hardy's just so quick. The man's like a cat in the ring.
He might be quick like a cat, but I guarantee you he's not purring for anybody.
You said it. He's more like some jungle cat that's looking to tear you.
Matt's really built up an impressive singles career after years of teaming with his brother Jeff.
Oh yeah, the man's held numerous championships with and without his brother.
And he'll hold many, many more before it's all.
Without a doubt, the WWE fans here just love Matt Hardy.
When you put out the kind of effort that Matt Hardy does in the ring, you're loved everywhere. It's rare to find a superstar with as much drive to succeed as Matt Hardy.
Well, that's for sure. He's got the drive to succeed and the motor to get it done.
Mickie James is one of the premier female competitors in WWE.
She's at the top of the heap, no doubt about it.
And not too hard on the eyes either, eh, partner?
I'm going to plead the fifth and not answer that on the account my wife may be. Mickey's a multi-time women's champion, and it's not hard to see why.
No kidding. She's faced the best in the business and come out on top. Arguably, Mickie James is the most athletic woman on the WWE roster.
There's no doubt she's in great shape, that's for sure. You watch Mickie in the ring, she's not quick, she's sudden.
She surprised many competitors with her in-ring ability over the years, that's for sure. Mickey's got the heart of a lioness.
No doubt, she's got no quit. Mickie refuses to say.
You know, I always try to be impartial, right? I mean, come on, let's be honest. But I'll cheer up anyone who's up against The Miz. Anytime.
I bet you'd like nothing better for The Miz to be embarrassed here tonight.
The Miz is embarrassed every minute of the day. Or at least he should be. He's living proof that God has a sense of humor.
That might be so, but I'm not sure The Miz. Montel Vontavious Porter, better known as MVP, brings all the pompousness of other sports celebrities right here to WWE.
You're just jealous because he could buy and sell you in a heartbeat.
I'm a little more bitter at how he seems to think he can choose when and where to actually get in the ring.
Tell you what, when you get close to his tax bracket, maybe you'll get to make I gotta hand it to MVP. He got some big coin even before his first WWE match.
I don't know if that was the wisest decision by Smackdown's general manager.
Teddy Long is no rocket scientist or nothing like that, but he must have seen some good in MVP to sign him with that kind of.
MVP is one heck of an athlete, but I think his most developed muscle is his tongue. He never shuts up.
He's giving the people a show, and that's just what they want.
I think they'd like a fair, clean match with that show, and MVP definitely does not.
I need to get me like an MVP jersey or something. The guy's pretty good. I dig it.
No matter how big of a fan of his you become, something tells me he'll always like himself infinitely more than you. After signing that big money contract with Smackdown, some accuse MVP of overstating his abilities.
That's just jealousy, plain and simple. When you're as great as MVP, all sorts of people try to take. You know something? When I see London and Kendrick wrestle, they kind of remind me of an early days Hardy Boys.
It's not just you, Tazz. London and Kendrick are one of the most high-flying teams WWE has ever seen, and their success in the tag team ranks just shows how effective. Lincoln, you'll miss it. Paul London really is one of the quickest superstars I've ever seen. With his incredibly athletic moveset, Paul London has to be one of the brightest young prospects in WWE today.
Absolutely. And that 450 splash he does is just straight up.
When you were in the ring, you were never one for high-flying action, were you?
Not really, but I never needed to be. I'd go in there, suplex, Tazz mission, good night, Irene.
Though he spent most of his time as a tag team wrestler, there's no doubt in my mind that Paul London has all the tools he needs to make it in the singles division.
Hey, you never know. If he puts his mind to it, he could even become ECW. He may be one of the youngest wrestlers on the roster, but Paul London is full of potential.
And his age can only work to his advantage. Right now, we could be looking at the future of WWE. CM Punk lives the straight-edge lifestyle. Means no drugs, no alcohol, and no tobacco.
What can I say? The kid's a role model.
Yeah, but I'd hope his younger fans don't try to duplicate the moves they see him perform here tonight.
Hey, I'm a professional, and I'm not going to try to do it. CM Punk's got a pretty extensive background, right?
He sure does. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai kickboxing. He's a real student of mixed martial arts.
We might see him take his opponent to school right here.
CM Punk spent many years honing his craft before making it here to the big time.
And that's a good thing. You gotta step up your game once you get a spot.
William Regal is the pride of Blackpool, England.
I've never been to Blackpool, but it's not the prettiest name I've ever heard. You gotta be tough to claw out a place like Blackpool.
Claw is a good term, partner. Regal uses whatever it takes to get an advantage.
I respect that a lot, because unlike you, I know the thrill of victory like Regal does. Regal can do anything. Brawling, submission, strong style, whatever style you want, Regal can do. He's what you call a true hybrid.
I'm not always a fan of his methods, but William Regal is definitely a talented performer.
And that accent's pretty...
Starting in the carnival fighting circuit as a kid, William Regal has used brutality to travel the globe several times over.
That's an honest living if ever there was one. Literally fighting for survival.
He's also picked up his share of dirty tricks along the way.
Regal is a true-life, real success story. He grew up on the streets and became a distinguished gentleman. We should all be very proud of him.
That may have to be a more respectable accomplishment if he hadn't stepped on everyone's heads on his way up. William Regal never met a rule or bone he didn't break.
A gentleman with Regal's reputation doesn't break rules. He just politely bends them.
Randy Orton has all the tools to be one of the best in the business. I just don't understand why he can't wrestle within the rules.
It's a tough industry, man. You need every advantage you can get.
But why turn your back on the fans like that?
Hey, they turned their back on him first, and they're lucky he didn't give an RKO. Not only did Randy learn the ropes from his dad and his granddad, he got some good advice from Flair and the Game as a member of Evolution.
Talk about learning to hunt from two lions.
Hey, that's why Randy Orton's the man, plain and...
Orton's mouth has gotten him into trouble numerous times, both in and out of the ring.
What can I say? The guy can back it up. In that case, he can say whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah, but there's always a bigger dog. Randy Orton may be taught a lesson sooner.
Randy's a third-generation competitor, but he's the best of the bunch.
The poisoned apple doesn't fall far from the tree, as they say. At the age of 24, Randy Orton became the youngest world champion in WWE history when he won the World Heavyweight title at SummerSlam in 2004.
Randy's gonna have a lot of world title reigns before he hangs up those boots. Believe you me, the guy is flat out.
Randy Orton is fiercely competitive. Behind those cold blue eyes lies the aptitude of one of the most physically gifted natural competitors that I've ever seen.
Well, when you talk about the evil eyes, the evil look, I couldn't agree more. He's always plotting, always planning his next move.
Randy Orton doesn't face his competitors, he stalks them.
That's right. He's like a lion hunting his prey.
And when he pounces with the RKO, his prey never sees it.
The Legend Killer reminds me of so many great superstars.
That's because Orton represents Darwinism at its finest. Like it or not, the man's the evolution of sports entertainment. Rey Mysterio is the king of high-risk maneuvers. Rey Mysterio carries on the tradition of the great luchadors. Rey Mysterio is the king of high-risk maneuvers.
High risk and high reward. How many superstars have we seen Mysterio defeat over the years that are just 3 times his size?
Good point, partner. Mysterio's without doubt the WWE's resident.
Hey, I just thought of something. Have you ever considered wearing a mask like Mysterio?
I don't know, Taz. You think it'd be a good look for me?
Oh yeah, 10 times better than what you got going on.
Rey Mysterio first made his mark in the United States way back in 1995 at a small bingo hall known as the ECW Arena.
And I'll say it with pride. Mysterio is an ECW original. The man's probably the greatest luchador in the world. You know, in all my years of wrestling, I've never come across anyone as obnoxious, irritating, and mouthy as Santino. This guy's one of my favorites.
And it's this fast mouth that gets Marella into trouble.
And that's Santino's main problem. He just acts to get...
WWE's own Italian stallion, Santino Marella, is every bit as cocky as he's talented in the ring.
Lucky for Santino, he's an incredibly gifted wrestler, and he can stand toe-to-toe with anyone on a roster.
It's just a shame for him, then, that his brash personality rubs everyone.
You gotta admit it. Even if Santino's a bit cocky, he can be funny from time to time. Come on, the guy's funny.
I'll admit that. I just think Marella needs to be a little more careful with the fights he... Santino Marella got off to an incredible start in his WWE debut, winning the Intercontinental Championship from Umaga in his very first match. Shad is the larger, stronger member of Crime Time.
Yeah, and I bet that did him some favors on the streets.
Regardless, he's become a force since arriving in WWE.
No doubt. You can't argue with success, and Shad isn't afraid to do whatever it takes to get the win, even if it means going behind the referee's back.
Isn't that a case of the pot calling the kettle black, partner?
What's with all the pots and kettles and stuff? What are you doing, like a cooking?
Shad grew up on the mean streets, where he learned to fight, among other things.
Yeah, but whose hood do you think was tougher? His or mine?
You're both from Brooklyn, partner. I think you're splitting hairs. At 6 feet 7 inches tall and 285 pounds, Shad is one big superstar.
I can't think of too many guys as intimidating as Snitsky.
I don't know if I was on a dark street and saw him walking my way, I'd curl up in a ball until he was gone.
You do the same thing when you see stray puppies, right? So that's not saying.
Snitsky is a freak. Plain and simple. I call him a wrecking machine, but science hasn't made machines that ugly.
This guy Snitsky is certifiably behemoth. Over 6'7", 300 pounds. With size and power like that, there's nothing stopping him.
Well, there is a little issue over mental instability that may slow him down. Snitsky is a massive, intense, violent individual who attacks people indiscriminately. No one is safe from Snitsky's wrath.
I wonder where you are on it.
You know, I've never had to face Snitsky, during my in-ring career and stuff, but, I gotta tell you, on the record, I'm real happy about that.
I don't blame you. I'm more than a little scared of him myself.
Well, that goes without saying. Look at you. You're what? $1.50 soaking wet with a brick in your pocket?
I don't know. I've never weighed myself soaking wet.
The scariest thing about Snitsky isn't just his size, isn't just his power. It's the fact that he just doesn't care about anyone or anything.
We've seen that time and time again, and we're seeing that here tonight in this match.
And it might be the last thing his opponent ever.
I don't know how WWE can allow a monster like Snitsky to compete.
Simple. A monster like Snitsky makes the rest of the roster kick it up a notch or two. You can't just go through the motions when you're in a match with a guy who wants to tear your head off your body.
You might be right, but I have to wonder if the risk is...
Talk about intimidating. The only thing more intimidating than Snitsky is your breath. Ah, it's reeking.
That's what worries me. I'd hate to have a monster like Snitsky having his run of the place. Seeing Snitsky in action sends a chill up my spine.
The guy's like a monster movie brought to life. Kind of like your first day.
In the history of ECW, there's no move more fearsome than the Tazz mission.
I don't care who I'm up against. You step in the ring with me and you're getting choked out.
When you step into the ring with Tazz, you're running on borrowed time.
You got that right there, Nits. I might slap you around a little bit, kick you in the butt, punch you in the head, hit your hands, choke you out, suplex you, don't matter. But when the Tazz mission's on, that's...
During the course of your career, you've seen a lot of success, winning several different titles.
But the one I held in the highest regard is the ECW Championship, baby. The best.
Tazz is an angry, mean, miserable thug in the ring.
Hey, it's not just in the ring. I'm the human suplex machine, baby. I don't care where you are, who you are, how big you are. If you're on your back, your stomach, your front, it don't matter. I'll throw you around the ring, and then it's lights out, done, thanks.
Tommy Dreamer is living out his dream, being an ECW superstar.
Nobody loves the business as much as he does, I'm telling you.
It's true that Tommy's gone through some physical hardships, but he endures night after night because of his adoration for these fans.
I definitely give him props for that. The guy loves to perform, and he's done most of it injured at times, and it took the fans quite a while back in the day to warm up to Tommy Dreamer. But once they did, they stuck with him.
I'm pretty sure it was his work ethic that turned them around. Tommy gives his all every time he climbs into the ring.
You're not kidding. I knew Tommy Dreamer back in the day, and I know him very well now, and he's ECW.
Over the years, Tommy Dreamer has been known as the innovator of violence.
He gets off on hurting people in crazy ways, and that's a big part of what ECW is all about.
It's worked pretty well for him over the years, though. Tommy Dreamer is definitely hard.
I've known Tommy Dreamer almost forever. Sometimes I wonder if the guy's got more guts than brains.
I have a feeling as long as ECW keeps filling up arenas, Tommy Dreamer will keep lacing up his... Think of the buckets of blood that have been shed by Tommy Dreamer over the years.
Yeah, and every drop has been shed for ECW and the ECW fan base.
Trevor Murdoch is every bit as bitter and twisted as he looks.
And the same holds true for his style also. It's rough, it's ugly, and it's painful as hell. Kind of like your... What makes Murdoch so angry all the time? I love that about this guy.
I don't know, Taz, but it's obvious that Murdoch is one ticked off. When you're up against someone like Trevor Murdoch, you have to be careful not to let his looks deceive you.
Are you kidding me or what? He fights as dirty as he looks.
Though they've had their fair share of breakups, Murdoch and his partner Cade are as dominant as any tag team in recent years. Trevor Murdoch is exactly what he says on the tin. He's scruffy, he's tough, he's short-tempered, and he's always ready for a brawl, no matter who he's in the ring. Umaga is an unstoppable Samoan bulldozer. He's left a pile of broken bodies in his way.
Umaga may not be the first monster to come from Samoa, but he's definitely the baddest.
Umaga had one of the longest undefeated streaks in sports entertainment history, even beating both members of DX in consecutive weeks.
Forget your comic books and your horror movies. We're looking at a real-life monster right here in a Samoan bulldozer.
I agree with you completely. If he wants to destroy you, there's not a lot you can do to... Umaga started his WWE career in legendary fashion, immediately assaulting the Nature Boy Ric Flair.
That's the way to do it. Go after the king and the castle and you become the...
I truly think The Undertaker will go down as one of the best, all-time best in sports entertainment.
And I hope you're including me on that list,
I don't know how many times I've seen The Undertaker in action now, but he still gives me goosebumps.
You and me both, bro. The man's just spooky and Oh, God. How good does The Undertaker look tonight?
The dead man's always pushing himself, Taz, always doing whatever it takes to be the ultimate superstar in WWE.
And he's always adapting, too. The man's made several changes to his fighting style over the years so that his opponents never know what to expect.
And how many titles has that earned him?
Ha! I lost count back in 98. All I know is that I don't think I have enough fingers and toes. You know, Undertaker is just a student of all things fighting. In recent years, he's been heavily influenced by MMA. It's just impacted his striking style as well as given several deadly submission holds.
And when you get stretched out by the dead man, you tap. You don't hesitate. You don't fight out of it. You tap. Because if you don't, you'll be going.
I'll tell you, the dead man looks like he's ready to bring the wood tonight.
And that's different how? I don't know if the Phenom's ever stepped through those ropes and not been ready to do. You think these WWE fans are behind The Undertaker?
If they were any more behind this man, they'd be tagging with.
The Undertaker's just incredible. The man's a monster, a veteran, a brawler, and a technician.
Victoria's got so many weapons. She's a total innovator.
No doubt, Taz. But Victoria's also got a ruthlessness about her that also helped her become a two-time WWE Women's. Victoria is one of the most dominant women we've ever seen in WWE.
Absolutely. She's definitely not the lady to match.
Victoria doesn't waste any motion in the ring. Her style allows her to deliver the most impact with every move.
True. I mean, the Widow's Peak? How sick is... Man, I love Victoria. She's gorgeous, she's beautiful, and she can beat people up all day.
As a two-time WWE Women's Champion, Victoria is no stranger to success. One half of WWE's hottest tag team, Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, are making waves in the tag team scene on Smackdown.
He's a talented superstar, no doubt about it, and his success in the tag team ranks is...
When he debuted, Ryder wasted little time in aligning himself with the Rated R superstar Edge.
Yup, and it's been a really smart move for Ryder and Hawkins, buying them some instant...
Ryder and his partner Hawkins have all the potential to be perennial champions in WWE.
There's no arguing there. They got the physical too. Ryder's one of those guys you always got to keep an eye on. He's quick, he's smart, and he's got friends in high places. Unlike...
Though you may not like his methods, Ryder has always been consistent in getting the job done. This brass superstar Chris Jericho has done it all here in WWE.
You got that right, Charlie. Y2J just flat out brings it.
Like Shawn Michaels before him, Y2J possesses a fast-paced, high-flying in-ring style combined with a superb technical wrestling know-how.
I couldn't agree more. Listen, Jericho is arguably a budding WWE.
Jericho's known to be very resilient, but this resiliency is going to be tested here tonight.
Hey, my money's on Y2J, baby. This guy's got the heart of a lion, and you know what? He used to have hair like...
Jericho looks great as always.
You got that right. Jericho's always ready for a fight.
Jericho's quick, fast, he's a risk taker, and a proficient wrestler. He's also extremely intelligent.
Talk about intelligent. Jericho knows his opponent so well, he's always one, maybe two steps.
One of the things that's gotten Jericho in hot water over the years is his confidence.
And you can't dog Jericho for that. He brings with him an attitude of a champion.
I'm not saying it's a fault. I'm just pointing out that it hasn't always made him very well liked in the locker room.
Liked in the locker room? Are you kidding or what? If you're here to be liked, you're in the wrong business, bro. The only thing that matters is what matters to Y2J.
We should all be grateful that Mr. McMahon has graced us with his presence tonight.
Do I detect a little sarcasm out of you? The guy who signs your paycheck is right there. Show a little respect.
Mr. McMahon may be our boss, but think of all the suffering and embarrassment he's caused different people over the years.
Boo-hoo. Think where sports entertainment would be without him. In the toilet.
Not only is Mr. McMahon chairman of WWE, he's also a former WWE champion.
That's why I admire the boss, man. The guy can do it all.
Yes, I think that if there's one thing that everyone can agree on about Mr. McMahon, it's that there's very little he can't or won't.
God, I just flat out love the Mr. McMahon strut. That walk. I gotta get him to teach me that.
I think you'd have to be triple jointed to pull that off. Is there any more sickening sound than hearing Mr. McMahon utter the words, "You're fired"?
Probably not, but that's not as sickening as being forced to join the Mr. McMahon Kiss My You-Know-What club. Don't cross.
Well, it's safe to say Mr. McMahon has had his share of critics over the years, but as far as I'm concerned, I love the guy.
It's a lot to be jealous of. He's the billionaire chairman of the most powerful company in sports entertainment history.
And how many billionaires do you see getting in the ring and putting their bodies on the line like this?
It's a short list.
Mr. McMahon is one of the greatest humanitarians that I am privileged ever to know. What a great, inspirational figure he truly, truly is.
I hope the WWE chairman doesn't stop too suddenly, or your head might wind up stuck in a very dark, uncomfortable place.
No, I'm really glad to see you working on a career as a stand-up comedian, because you won't last much longer around here with that attitude. You're gonna be gone, buddy. Back to stacking shells over.
He's as ruthless in the ring as he is in the boardroom. Mr. McMahon will do whatever it takes to win.
Hope you're not trying to say that like it's like a bad thing or something.
No comment. Believe me, I have no desire to get on Mr. McMahon's bad side. I will never cross.
Mr. McMahon is an American icon, for God's sakes. His face should be on a dollar bill. Let's say like a $3 bill.
Knowing the chairman, I'm sure he wouldn't object to having a billion self-portraits. Mr. McMahon's not the most technically gifted superstar we've ever seen, but he does possess a number of unique advantages.
Yeah, like the ability to fire anyone who crosses him. God, I wish you were